at the Scenic Regional Library Wright City branch, and I'm here to talk to you about conservation and youth. So if you haven't checked out the Missouri Department of Conservation, it's a really wonderful organization. My favorite thing to do is go hiking on a lot of their trails, and I actually printed out one of my favorite trails here. It's called the Pickle Springs Natural Area. This map shows the whole natural area is this gray spot here, but the trail just goes around here. There's a lot of beautiful sights and little creeks, and it's just a really beautiful trail to walk. I will post some pictures here in just a second. But that's one of my favorite things to do. This is in St. Genevieve County, and it's 257 acres. The trail doesn't go through the whole area, but it's really awesome. The Missouri Department of Conservation, I'm going to read a little bit about them. Their history began in 1937 when a citizen-led efforts created the Department of Conservation to restore, conserve, and regulate Missouri's overstressed fisheries, forests, and wildlife populations. During the first 40 years, hunting, fishing, and trapping permits provided most of the funding, but in 1976, an expanded program, the Design for Conservation, was passed to set aside 1/8 of 1% sales tax directly to the agency. That consistent funding, plus a strong non-political structure and very supportive public, helps make Missouri a national leader in the conservation. Today they continue their legacy of protecting the state's wild resources and helping Missourians connect with their natural heritage. Their goal is to sustain diverse, healthy plant and animal communities well into the future. They have state-managed lands. So the Missouri Department of Conservation administers more than 975,000 acres located throughout the state, and about 63% or 615,000 acres are forested. The forest land occurs on a wide variety of sites, and as a result, there is a broad diversity of plants and animal communities present. A couple of videos we're going to see are from the Missouri Department of Conservation, and it's about a bee and about a caterpillar and what we can do to help protect them, because they are important for our environment. So we're going to watch a couple of those videos here soon. Also, I wanted to point out that the Missouri Department of Conservation actually, they have a rod and reel loaner program. It lets you check out free fishing poles at the library. We do have these fishing poles available at all the branches, so you can check them out on the library card. And actually it's offered at more than 100 locations throughout Missouri, so not just Scenic Regional Library has this program, and it is sponsored by the Missouri Department of Conservation. So that's a really great program you should check out if you're wanting to do some fishing. Some of the values of the Missouri Department of Conservation are excellent public service is essential. They work to deliver more than is expected. All citizens are important. Missourians are partners to achieve conservative success. Employees are a department's most important asset. Their vision is a future with healthy fish, forests, and wildlife where all people appreciate nature. So there's a lot of things you can do to help protect our forested areas and our fishery areas and our plant life here in Missouri. So I encourage you to go to the Missouri Department of Conservation's website and look up all the wonderful information, all the different hiking trails you can do. You can get fishing permits and hunting permits from them. They have events and classes, some virtual and some in person. So look and see what different things you can do to help protect your environment and the animals and insects and plants here in nature. So I'm going to send it off to Missouri Department of Conservation. We have 2 videos coming up. Watch those 2 videos, and then I'll see you in a bit.
Hi everyone, it's naturalist Aisha here from Powder Valley Nature Center, and today on Creature Feature we're going to be talking to you guys about the spicebush swallowtail caterpillar. We're going to let you know all the fun facts about him today. The spicebush swallowtail caterpillar, also known by its scientific name as Papiliotrolis, can be found anywhere moist and with flowers, and they particularly like being around a plant called butterfly weed.
Another interesting feature of this caterpillar is the retractable orange organ at the top of their heads that resembles an antenna. This fork-shaped organ comes out and emits a foul smell when they're alarmed by a predator. This is also another form of self-defense that this insect uses. As caterpillars, these little guys enjoy eating sassafras and spicebush. It goes without saying that these bugs have an interesting appearance. At first glance, they seem to have large eyes and a very large head for a caterpillar. If we take a close look, we can notice that their striking appearance is actually meant to mimic the appearance of a snake, and that their eye spots are just a pattern. This is meant to discourage predators from eating them, and their real head is much smaller and lies beneath their false one. A few of you may have noticed that this critter looks a bit familiar, especially if you enjoy the popular cartoon Pokemon. In fact, it was a relative of the spicebush swallow-tailed caterpillar that inspired the Pokemon Caterpie. Hee. This critter is described by the Missouri Department of Conservation as a common breeding resident, so they're not endangered or threatened. When the caterpillars of this species grow into adults, they will become beautiful butterflies and pollinate many flowers, and at all stages of their life, they act as food for animals in their habitat. Now that you know about this crazy cool insect, maybe you'll spot them on your next adventure and tell others about the wonders of the spicebush swallowtail. For more information about the spicebush swallowtail caterpillar, visit nature.mdc.mo.gov.
Hello everyone, I'm Naturalist Hallie with the Missouri Department of Conservation, and this week on Creature Feature, our creature is the bumblebee.
The brown-belted bumblebee, which is also known by its scientific name as Bombus chrysocollus, can be seen buzzing around anywhere with flowers during the day, and at night, you may be able to spot them sleeping on the underside of leaves. Bumblebees are social insects, and they live in colonies with hundreds of other bumblebees. But instead of gathering in hives, these bees actually live in burrows underground. As adults, bumblebees eat nectar from plants just like many other pollinators do. But when they're young, they eat pollen and honey. Bumblebees don't make as much honey as honeybees do, however. But since they are social bees, they still do make some honey. Bumblebees can do something amazing called buzz pollination, in which they grab onto pollen stuck in flowers and buzz loudly by moving their flight muscles to make the flower's pollen come out. They also have very hairy bodies, and each hair has a forked tip, which is great for picking up pollen and transferring it to many other flowers. Another interesting fact about these insects is that the females have pollen baskets on their last pair of legs that collect pollen when they move from flower to flower. All of these factors make bumblebees great at pollinating in their habitats. These insects play a large and very important role in pollination, especially on the agricultural crops we eat. And like many other pollinators, bumblebees have certain plants that depend only on them for pollination. These bees are not a species of conservation concern in Missouri, but their numbers are declining. However, there are ways to help out our bee friends and bring more bees into our world by planting some native plants that they'll love. Plants such as aromatic aster, butterfly milkweed, purple coneflower, and wild bergamot, just to name a few. Now that you know more about bumblebees, maybe you'll be able to spot one buzzing around and helping to make the world a better place. To learn more about the bumblebee, visit nature.mdc.mo.gov.
Welcome back. That was some really awesome information, and both of those animals are so cute. That caterpillar, when I found out it was made, that they based a Pokemon off of that, I thought that was really cool. My son loves Pokemon. So I have a little thing. We don't have any take-a-makes for this program, but I definitely encourage you to go Do your research, see what you can do for the conservation of the wildlife around you. And if you can come into your local branch and tell us something that you plan to do to help with the conservation of the nature of Missouri. So just come into your local branch and tell one of the librarians what you plan to do to help with conservation. And you will either get to pick out this really cute bee or honeycomb charm. Let me scooch forward. There is a bee or a honeycomb charm. You can pick one or the other for telling us what you plan to do for conservation. I know here at the Wright City branch, we also have a water bottle that was given to us by the Missouri Department of Conservation. It says something about fishing on it. So I know if like a boy comes in, they don't want their charm. We do have one water bottle you can get as well. So you can pick out first come, first serve. We only have a few charms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 charms here at the Wright City branch. I have one water bottle, first come, first serve. I hope you're able to get some wonderful information. Let me know if you decide to go on a hike anywhere. That's my favorite thing to do. And keep an eye out on the next teen program coming up on Wednesdays. And I will see you later. Bye!